Hey everyone, this is Deborah. It's another rainy day in Brisbane. Today I'm going to be making this matchbook cover. So I've already done this one and I've put it in my junk journal. What you need is a piece of card. I'm just using a piece of cardstock, plain white cardstock, and it measures 3 inches across by 6 inches long. And I'm going to be using these map pages and this index, and this is from a Refidex or a UBD or a Gregory's or whatever you call them. They're basically just a thing that lets you find where things are in a town or a city. So now we're going to fold it, and here's one that I've done previously. And what you do is you fold up the end. So I'll just take this piece of card. You fold up the end so it's about a ½ inch from the bottom. Doesn't have to be exactly ½ inch, it's just a rough thing. And then you fold the flap for the top down and you just tuck it under that bottom flap, just slightly, maybe an 1/8 of an inch. Then push it down, and then I take my scorer and I score that. So create quite a good fold there. And now I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to be using this paper which I've taken out of the Refidex, and it's the index of all the streets. And I want to put some on the outside, so it's on this flap here. So I'm just going to take my double-sided tape and stick it down onto that. If you do have text, then you probably want to make sure that you've got it straight. Although if you don't care if it's not straight, then that's okay too. Personal preference really. I'm using the line for the column to see if I can get mine reasonably straight. So that's the paper on the front, on the inside of the card, and now I'm going to do it on the back side. When I'm doing this second piece, I'm actually going to turn the paper upside down. There's a method to my madness. So this is going to be the top, and when I turn this over, I'm going to have the words going the correct way. I'm just going to put this again on that line as a guide. That way when I turn this over and fold it, I've got the words up the correct way here, and then when I open it, the words are up the correct way there. And the next step I'm going to use is some tissue tape, and I'm going to put this around the edges to bind it all together. I used this on my other one, and I used one of the black and white tissue tapes, but I thought I'll bring in a few more text words on this one. Just trim those edges off, and then that is going to sit in there. So the next thing to do is to get your stapler and leave that bit in there so that you can make sure that when you clip it, you're actually getting it in the right place and you're not putting your staples too far up, and put them about, I guess, halfway up. So that's what I've done. And then so I'm doing it sort of just at the bottom of that tissue tape, and then another one there. And then what you've got, once you use your bone scorer, just score it a bit so it settles into being folded. And then what you've got is this cute little matchbook cover, and you can put a photo in there. In this one here, let's go back to my book. This one here, I actually laid it on its side, and I put this little bit of card in here, bit of white card, so that I could write on it, and I can still put a photo or something in there. Really love these little book pages. So for this one here, I think I'm going to do some little internal pages so that I can show you what that looks like. So it's just the same thing. I'm just folding the card. I'm getting it to where I want it so that it stays in place when the staples are in. And then I've got this map page here. Now for this one, I think I will actually do both sides of it. Because it's a map, it doesn't matter. I mean, I know that some of the words are upside down and that, but it doesn't really matter, you know, if it's sort of upside down or right side up or whatever. So I'm just going to choose the side of the page that I want here, and then when I bring that up, we'll cover that and we'll cover that. I think the other thing that would be good for this would be a glue stick. Would you believe I don't actually have a glue stick to try? But I guess I could, I think I'm going down to Officeworks tomorrow, so I'll probably get a glue stick and give it a go. So I'm laying this across the page this time and just putting it, I think it's going to be straight, but again it doesn't matter if it's straight or not. It can be crooked, doesn't really matter. And I'm folding that up. And I just wanted to cut that part of the map off. And then I'm going to fold it down, so it's kind of like wrapping a present, I guess. That's what I'm doing. I'm kind of wrapping this little present up. I'm going to put those down first, and then this one, and then this one. No, the other way around, so I get more map on the inside. Okay, so let's just stick this down. So what I've done is I've actually cut some graph paper, and sorry, it's flaring a bit, but there it is there. And I purposely cut the edge of the graph paper because I really like that you can see the holes in it. And I cut it just shy of 3 inches wide, so it would fit within the book, which is pretty good guess there. And I cut one of them just shy of 6 inches. And I'm going to cut them down now so that they're both a similar size. No, I'm not going to line the holes up because I quite like that they're different. Just take my scissors, because I think that's a nice surprise when you open it up and you see, you know, that it's graph paper, and we've got this nice, these nice holes in it. So I've cut those, and I put that actually in here like that. And that's pretty good fit, actually. Yep, that's pretty good fit. And the first thing I'm going to do is staple them in. So when I'm stapling, I've actually put them right to the bottom of the of that fold, so that I don't have to glue them in at all. I can just staple them. Once again, I'm going about halfway up, maybe a little less than halfway I've done, and I'm just eyeballing it so it's roughly in the same spot. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the matchbook and that graph paper and create a fold in there, and then I'm just going to fold that graph paper separately so that it make sure I get a nice fold in there. And then, because I don't want this all the way to the end, because I don't want to have to tuck that as well. Can you see that the graph paper is here and it's just touching the edge of that? So I want to just cut that down again and just give it another slice off it so that it doesn't interfere with the tuck of the cover. So I've got that little bit of graph paper in there. Be able to do a bit of journaling on that, and it doesn't interfere with the tuck of the cover. And then I'm just going to tuck. When you put these down and after you've, you know, tucked them in and out a couple of times, it actually works a lot better. I don't know why, it just seems to get used to the fact that you're tucking. Okay. Now I noticed that edge was catching a little bit when I did that, and I don't want it to be. So I have to think of a way to fix that. So let's think about this. And that's because of the fold that I did earlier. So I may have to get some tape and put on there. I could just put this tape on there, and that's going to stop that happening. I'm just sticking it, half of it down, not all of it. Take my scissors and trim it. I'll trim it all later. Because I've already stapled, this is going to be fun. I could take the staples out, but who's got time to do things like that? Okay. Maybe I have a second thought.
This is a clever thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that down and slide it in there. There you go. That's a much better idea. And then push that down on top of it. And then trim it off. See, there's always a solution to every problem. And then tuck that in there. Oh, that's tucking much better now. There you go. See that? And there's another one. Sorry, that's a bit blurry. Okay. And then you can stick that one in your journal. And this one here I'll probably use for photos. Have it up that way and make a nice little set. And this is Deborah. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you create anything. Share with me in the comments because I'd love to see what you're making. Thank you.